KILR Killer Game.
Hello, gamers, simmers, and pilots. I am the Killer Gamer, and welcome to the tour around the world featuring a SubLogic Flight Lite. SubLogic Flight Lite. We're going to continue from where we left off. Where is that? Well, let's pull up that map that we've had in previous episodes so that way you can see where it is that we are and where we happen to be going. And here's the map. This map dates back to Flight Simulator 2 by SubLogic. Well, also Microsoft 2, 3, and 4. This is from the SubLogic Scenery Disc number 7. This is just being used as a reference. The actual maps are something like this. And they are very big. But they look like this. But to try to scan that into the computer, the most I can do is take a photo of it. It's just too big. We are here at Quad City International. Moline, Illinois. We're going to be going right across this, right here to Iowa City Municipal. This is the same leg that we have done on the other flight simulators. We will be crossing the Mississippi River right here, so we'll get to see what that looks like in this simulator. I believe this is the Iowa River, I think. I don't know if that's going to be in there. It may be just a blue line. We'll find out the closer we get to Iowa City Municipal. It doesn't look like we have any types of VOR or anything there. I'd say since we're... Okay. By the way, these two are not in the right spots. The airport is actually here. The VOR is actually there. They have it mixed up. If we take off from the runway heading at 270, we can fly here to Port City and then fly upwards in the direction of, I'd say, about 320. That should get us to Iowa City Municipal. Old-fashioned VOR flying. I grew up with this stuff. Grew up with the likes of the Commodore 64 flight simulator, as well as the Amiga. But man, I flew that. I flew the Commodore 64 one quite a lot back in the day. Trying to move the map so I can see the radios and stuff. Okay. Port City is 108.8. And by the way, this is a DOS program. It also works on Windows 3.1. We are just doing this on DOSBox. Works just fine on DOSBox. Just in case you're interested in playing this for yourself. I've actually been an inspiration for some of my viewers out there. who have gone and actually started playing some of these old simulators, and that's a great compliment. So I'm glad I'm able to touch people's lives in a very positive way. Okay, we have Nav1 all set to go for Port City. Let's find runway 27. You are all part of a series at the moment that has been going on for nearly 2 years. It is Killer Gamers World Tour over on YouTube. And so what I've been doing, I started with Twitch this year. I have been, instead of just recording stuff offline and doing my episodes, I record and stream at the same time, giving all of you guys and girls a chance to be a part of the actual show as I'm recording it. And you get to see everything just as it's happening. Technical glitches and all. And plus you get to chat with me too. And I think that makes these videos a lot more enjoyable too, when I can interact with my viewers. Plus I get to answer questions and all kinds of fun stuff. Alright, I think this is the runway that we want, so we'll just go to the end here. Do I fly in real life? No, I don't. I wish. Life had different plans for me. However, I do have a goal to build a new computer in preparation for Flight Simulator 2020. It will be an i9 machine. Looking at a GTX 2070 Super, because the 2080 would be way too much. Yeah, building that together, and then hopefully they will get VR set, which you can do that with X-Plane 11. But yeah, my goal is to get all that built up with VR, with controls, with an actual yoke and rudder instead of this. And have a truly immersive thing here in the grass experience with flying, and that's going to be the closest that I will ever get to actually flying as a pilot. And you know what? I'm okay with that. Because back when I was growing up, I would have never thought that I would ever see the day that Flight Simulator would look the way that it is going to wind up looking with the Flight Simulator 2020 and VR for that matter. Might want to lift those flaps up. That might be good. Yeah. So with all of that, that'll be the closest to reaching my dream of being a pilot, and it will be safe as well. My wife will be very appreciative of it. She doesn't have to worry about me going off flying somewhere and wondering if there's going to be an accident or something. So but I do enjoy flying. I enjoy it a lot. Had the thoughts of being an airline pilot when I was younger. There were thoughts about going into the Air Force. I didn't. I wound up going into the Army. It's all a long story. Oh, I thought that was the ident. Okay, that was the marker. So there is Moline, Quad City Airport right behind us. And we even have an external view. This is our cute little Cessna here. And there's the Mississippi River. Yay, it's not just a blue line like this one over here. This blue line is supposed to be another river that goes through into Moline. That looks more like a canal. But at least the Mississippi River looks like a river. Now if we can just get a signal from the Port City VOR, we will be as right as rain. So the graphics that you're seeing here would be pretty much the same as you would see on the SubLogic USA East, which is compatible with Flight Simulator 4. So this simulator is a little bit more closer in spirit to Flight Simulator 4. And it actually has some improvements over that. Not everything, but some improvements. One major improvement with SubLogic Flight is the transition from day to night. Whereas Flight Simulator 2, 3, and 4, well, 1 for that matter, you had blue sky for day, black sky for night, and then for dawn or dusk, you had a black ground and a blue sky. Here, it actually transitions. You can see that there's a transition from a darker blue to a lighter blue, and that actually changes in color. It you know, lightens and darkens as it gets as the sun goes up or goes down. So that is a really neat thing. It's something that I wish we could see in Flight Simulator 4. Okay, it looks like Port City has tuned in here. So you may be wondering, what the hell are all these numbers? That is our current heading right here, 280. That's our reciprocal course. Nav 1. This is the OBS here, so we'll just go ahead and click on this so we can turn that dial there. So we can center that needle. Whoop. Nope, we don't want to center it. Well, we can center it, what the hell. We want to fly to it. That's our heading, 249. Now, this red one is our heading bug. So we just click on this. Try to get it to 249. We'll turn on the autopilot here. That's AP. It's going to switch to nav 1, nav 2, and then HB, which is the heading bug. Click this one right next to it. And that will hold our altitude, which is at 3,600 feet. Might be kind of hard to read. It's right here. It's right underneath this arm. And we can turn that off by clicking this IDT. And that makes that quiet there. So, there we go. We're on our way to Port City. And I'm going to go ahead and change nav to also the Port City, and I am going to give us a vector to fly away from, and we were saying 320, so that's what we're going to put here is 320, so we know which radio to grab on the way out. There we go. So we're all set on both of our navs. Our DME is right here in the corner. 17.4 miles to go. Other gauges, in case you're wondering what in the world they all are. This is OBS 2. This is the ADF turn indicators right above it. Your airspeed indicator, altimeter, RPMs, engine, gas, fuel tank. Well, you know, gas. Take it over to a gas station, fill it up. This thing here is your angle of attack. Then clock, well, that's kind of obvious. This up here in the upper right is more of a simulator type of thing. You can have 4 windows open. So if you wanted to have an external view and a side view, you can open those up. It's just like Flight Simulator 4. So this says first, meaning, well, we have the first window up, which is the looking outside. And then you've got zoom. That's what 1x is. That's normal zoom. VCPALX, that is like how complicated is the scenery. It's set for very complex. And then below it is the time acceleration. We're at 1x, basically normal speed. We don't have any time acceleration going on here. And Chris the Beast 536, hey, welcome. We are flying to Iowa City Municipal. Let's go ahead and bring the map back up while we're flying. By the way, this is the Mississippi River that we're looking at. We're flying pretty much west. You'll see that the river is beginning to turn to the left, going south. And you will see that here in just a moment once I open up this map. And here it is. So this is where we took off from, was right there. Well, I'm sorry, these are mixed up. The airport's actually right there. SubLogic messed up when they created this map. So we are actually flying right along that part right there. And here it is where it turns south. We're flying here first to Port City, and then we're flying out at a radio of 320 right here to Iowa City. Iowa City Municipal, that is our stop. And you may be thinking, why? Well, there is a world tour series that I have over on YouTube. It's been going on for nearly 2 years, where I fly all the different flight simulators, and they all follow the same flight path. For the most part, they follow the same flight path. Some areas are covered and some are not. And we are flying the same exact leg that I did in other simulators. That gives everyone a chance to see exactly how each of these simulators compared with each other. You know, how well did they do back in the day? Or didn't. Whatever the case might be. Some did a really good job. From what I'm looking here, this scenery is actually not bad. Not bad for its time. I don't like the one-line river that they have on some of these areas, like the Kankakee River in Illinois is just a blue line. The default scenery was much better than that from Flight Simulator 1 and 2. And then some other areas are done really well. And then Flight Simulator 5, we've already flown this area and that. The Mississippi River is there, but then it stops the further north you go when it should be there, and it's not. It just stops. RJP! Hello! Good to see you again, buddy. I think this is the first time that you've probably seen this simulator. This is SubLogic Flight, not to be confused with Microsoft Flight. In fact, this is probably better. No, let me rephrase. Yeah, this is better than Microsoft Flight. Visually, no, but at least you can fly across the United States and in parts of Canada, whereas in Microsoft Flight, all you had was Hawaii and maybe some other DLC that you could download, and that was it. At least you can travel across the country with this one. So, win for SubLogic on SubLogic Flight. The original name for this is actually Flight Lite. That was the original name of the simulator. They then, a year later, released Flight Lite Deluxe. And then, for their final release, just called it SubLogic Flight, which is this right here. Released it on CD-ROM with scenery covering the entire United States. And that's what we got here. So, these are very close to Flight Simulator 4 graphics. Pretty much close. Just a few little differences. Okay, that looks like the Port City Airport. Well, I don't know if it's called Port City, but the VOR is located right here in front of us. And we'll be flying out of here at a radio of 320, and that will take us to Iowa City Municipal. So we've got some interesting. What's interesting about SubLogic Flight is that this was made after the time where SubLogic had split from Microsoft. Microsoft had gotten the IP for the original SubLogic Flight Simulator, and Bruce Artwick and his team. But SubLogic was still around. They still had their scenery database, but they no longer had the IP for the simulator. They had to completely build a new one from the ground up. Voila, here it is. And so they decided to go for a different type of audience. This is more of an entry-level type of flight simulator designed to be simple, easy to get into and not complicated, easy on system resources, So where this kind of came out around the time of between Flight Simulator 4 and Flight Simulator 5. Whoops, that is the wrong direction there. When Flight Simulator 5 came out, it could be a little harsh on system resources, especially if you wanted to get the full textures and everything. This thing seems to be doing... Okay. I'm looking to see what this thing is doing here. We don't really have... We do have visual cues that we can use just in case we can't exactly find Iowa City Municipal. There are some handy visual cues that we can use in this simulator to help us find it. Iowa City Municipal is about 15 or 20 miles away from Port City. And we even have some cute Watch the needle, watch the needle. I'm looking at OBS number 2 over here. But I'm also getting it on OBS number 1 as well. Right there. Trying to head out on that radial of 320 to Iowa City Municipal. That should get us there. Cedar Rapids, that's just beyond Iowa City Municipal, which is actually our next flight. And that's just a short hop. But we're looking good here, so I'm going to leave Nav 2. Oh, I hate when it does that. We're going to leave Nav 2 on Port City. We're going to tune in Nav 1 to Cedar Rapids just to get the mileage. Alright, it's 34.4 miles to Cedar Rapids. Iowa City will come before then. So as long as we see that before we get to 0, we will have arrived at Iowa City Municipal. If for some reason we don't see an airport until we get within 5 miles, we passed it. We're not going to pass it. We're going to get there. I can also change this to also give us another course that we can follow. Oh, I guess 320 would actually work. There it is. I believe that's it right up there. Jax, is this the new FS 2020 Alpha? It sure is, man. This is actually the Alpha Charlie version. It's only for special invitees. I sent them information that I wanted to be in the alpha. I let them know I had an i5 computer, and this is what they sent me. They said, have fun. Alright, we're going to turn the autopilot off. That was the lights, which we can't see anyways. Alright. We can manually turn here. That is Iowa. Oh, yeah, Iowa City Municipal right up ahead. And you are watching SubLogic Flight, or SubLogic Flight Lite is what it originally was called. Do not confuse this with Microsoft Flight, because this is a heck of a lot better than Microsoft Flight. You may be thinking I am smoking something crazy, but when you consider that this has the whole USA coverage along with parts of Canada, and Microsoft Flight only had Hawaii, I'm sticking with this. I have more places I can fly to. As far as visuals, I'll use my imagination, but at least I have more places I can fly to. On a serious note, I do have other simulators. I fly all kinds, dating all the way back to Microsoft Flight Simulator 1, all the way up to P3D and X-Plane 11. And yes, I also have the old versions of X-Plane dating back to X-Plane 5. And I have done videos and streams on those as well. I also fly on VATSIM. I've done it with FSX and P3D. I tried with X-Plane. It didn't like me. It disconnected me. So I just fly on FSX and P3D. But I like all of the simulators, all for different reasons. Each of them fascinate me in their own way. A little bit of a brief history there about me and why I do the things that I do. But if you like classic flight simulation, you are in a good spot. Because I do all kinds here. I do more than just flight simulation also. I just happen to do a lot of flight simulation. Because I have a love for flight simulators. But I'm happy that you're here, and I hope you have a good time. These can be quite an entertaining experience, especially my landings. Landings in the newer simulators are actually easy compared to these. These old ones, they are sometimes not very forgiving at all. This one's a little better, but we seem to be losing some high ground here. Yeah, because this thing doesn't really have the flight dynamics as well, you know, you would expect. And it's especially rough on like flight simulators 2, 3, and sometimes 4. Like when the plane stalls, it just, forget it. It's like game over after that. And I've had it stall like when right above the runway, which is typically what you want to do when, you know, landing is stall, so that way it, you know, drops onto the, you know, gently onto the runway. That doesn't quite work that way in the old simulators. It's more like, hey, I'm landing. Oh, what am I doing? Ah! Damn it, I wasn't paying attention. It's alright. We'll go around, land on another runway. We can do that. Yeah, it's like it stalls and then it just noses down unrealistically. And it does not do that on later simulators from what I've experienced. We can look out the back window here. Alright, I think we can turn here and make that other runway. An interesting thing is I did not fly this when it first came out. Heck, I didn't even know about SubLogic Flight. I tend to collect a lot of flight simulation add-ons and expansions, and you know, I'm always looking on eBay to find little enhancements and stuff to these old simulators. And I came across SubLogic Flight, wondering what in the heck is this? I never heard of it. So I did a little bit of research, and we're landing. Ah, crap. We might be doing more than landing. Okay, well, that was a hell of a landing. That sucked! There we go. That's the real landing right there. Ignore the other two. That one there, that was the real landing. Imagination, it's a powerful thing. Alright, we'll break there. Yeah, so what I was saying. So yeah, I found out about this thing on eBay. I looked into it. Figured, you know, hey, it was SubLogic. So I checked it out. Of course, I looked at this control panel wondering what in the heck is this. It looks like it's made out of gel, you know, candy colored jelly bean flavors or something. I mean, this looks like a very flavorful control panel. Like maybe scratch and sniff, and you know, you might smell some lemon or strawberries or lime or something, because this is this is very colorful. And actually, we are flying a Cessna. You may not believe that, but yeah, we are. Okay, that just looked awful. Come on, work for me. One more. There we go. That's our Cessna right there. See, it's still intact. It's not broken or anything. And you may be looking at the control panel saying, no, that does not look like a Cessna. Well, yeah, you would be right. It's a patch of green grass is what it is. Come on, man! Get to the control panel. All right, stay there now. All right. So the original plane that came out for Flight Light, the original plane was a Cessna Citation jet. And so that's what this panel is based off of. It had different gauges on here in some of the places, but that was the only plane originally, and then they added a few extra ones. And instead of creating a whole new panel, all they did was take out certain gauges and replace them with others. That's why this looks the way that it looks. Plus, it has a few simulation controls in here, such as the window here, like what window you can have up to 4 windows open. This is just saying, oh, the first window's open. The zoom level. This over here are visual cues and stuff in regards to flying to help you get to an airport. And we'll make use of that here in this next flight, just so you can kind of see that. Okay, well, we'll end things right here. Hopefully nobody will mind that we're, parked right here in the middle of the runway. They can just fly right over, choose another runway to land on. Hey, there's another one. Hey, we got this one. We're busy. We're busy right now. They need to take another runway. Hey, if you enjoyed this flight, great. I'm glad you did. Go ahead and click the like button. It's that thumbs up button. And leave some comments, and hey, share it with your friends and on social media, because that helps me out. It helps out the channel, helps out everyone, because it lets people know that the series is out there. That's a good thing, right? Of course it is. And then if you are new here, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, because that, again, that helps show your support, which I greatly appreciate. And it's free, and you get to know when new stuff is uploaded to the channel. I've been streaming these on Twitch while recording, so follow me over there, because once again, it's free. And you get to see all of this weeks and months ahead of time. You get to jump into the cockpit with me and fly with me. I love having the company. Get to ask me questions and stuff. So great thing. Follow me over there on Twitch. Love to have you there. Instagram, I take pictures and photos of stuff that I'm working on, so you might be interested in a little bit of what happens behind the scenes. Twitter is for all the official KILR news and announcements, as well as retweets of things that I think you might find interesting. And then there's Snapchat, because there's Snapchat. Just silly stuff. If you like silly, fun stuff, Snapchat is the thing to do. And then Patreon, for those who would like to, this is a serious thing, for those that would like to support what it is that I'm doing and help me be able to build this channel. I'm trying to build it up into something special. Can't do it by myself, so I'm asking the community for your help. Let's build this channel up as a community. Let's make it live up to its name. Let's make it KILR Television. Let's show the world how KILR awesome our community is. Please help support me on Patreon. Anything that you're willing to do is greatly appreciated, and you get bonuses and rewards in return. Other than that, thanks so much for watching. Again, I appreciate it. I will see you on the next exciting leg of our journey. Have a KILR awesome day.